Hey, old slick here, how's everybody doing today? Man, good, I hope. Out here in the woods, got the old hammock hanging up. I'm gonna take a little bit of time and show you a couple of things. This is gonna be a very, very brief video. Show you a couple things about this hammock that I've got, and I'm gonna be using this the next time that I camp. I normally tent camp, but I think I'm gonna start with to add on to the adventure of the old bush pig, the old Suzuki DR 650. I think learning to camp with this hammock is going to be better. Primary reason is that it's easier to put up somewhere. If you've got some trees, doesn't matter if it's wet, nasty, rocky, or whatever, you can throw this hammock up. So the hammock behind me, I'm gonna talk about it, show you a little bit more about it, is the war bonnet blackbird. Now it's a unique hammock, and it took me a while to find one like this. And what I like about it, I'm going to explain once I get in it. Okay, it's the way that you sit, where you can lay in it, and storage, and just a lot of other things. And I'm also going to show you, I have the hummingbird tarp that goes over the top. I'm just going to show you how I have that set up. And it's like saying, I come in a small area right here, so I'm just going to set it up a little bit and let you get an idea of what's going on. And we're going to talk about things I like, things I dislike about it. All right, let's talk about how I put up this hammock. Yeah, I simply always use a strap for my trees. It goes around. I have these, what they call these quick connects. Just saves a little weight. Tied on each end. This hammock comes with a ridge line built in. So once that's tight, this is at the proper hang. Another little feature about this, it has a little bungee cord that catches this part. It kind of pulls it away from you. And also does the other thing on the other side. And on this side, you have this area right here I was telling you. This is called the shelf. You can put things inside here. So I put my shoes and my light and things like that at night. This is a enclosed mosquito net. It has a double bottom, so you can put a sleeping mat, and most of all, it has this additional foot box built over here, where you can put your feet on this side and lay more straight in this hammock. That's all there is to it. Okay, next thing that I've done is I've made a ridge line for my tarp. Okay, I got some of this real strong line, and I've tied it here. And I've also, down this end, I have a loop. I actually looped everything through this tree and ran it down to that tree. Now, what I have here is a small snap link on a prusik knot. This is a knot if you're going to be camping. I suggest you try to learn, and I may try to show this to you the next time I camp. But basically it goes around a few times, and what happens is this knot will slide, okay? But if I put any tension on it, any tension like this, it will not give, okay? It's called a climbing knot. That's why you can slide it up on a rope. One for your hand, one for your foot. You can slide it up a rope, and then when you pull, it won't thing. So I tie one end of my tarp on that end, and on another. Let me demonstrate. Okay, so I've set that in. It's still loose. Take this knot. Slide this whole thing tight. Okay, now with these prusik knots tight, got the whole thing tight. Now, if you tied this rope just from here to here, then tied a rope on the other end and tried to pull this whole thing tight, it would eventually snatch these out. So I can have this real tight, so in case a storm comes, something's gonna be real tight and hold this up. And that can be a little bit loose, but this is still tight. So these prusik knots take all the guesswork out of it, okay? Now it's just a dead hang, and I've just got to pull it out and stake it out on both sides. It's easy as that. All right, old Slick in here chilling. Hey man, let me show you a couple things about this hammock. Okay, like most hammocks, this is tied to a tree on one end and it's tied to a tree on the other end or something. Okay, it also has a mosquito net built in that's over it that zips up. So you can totally enclose yourself in this hammock. Okay, when you set this hammock up, a lot of people don't know exactly how tight to get them. This one has a ridge line built into the hammock. Okay, so when I tighten this hammock up on that end and then on that end, this ridge line got tight. Okay, so it took the guesswork out of it. So getting the proper swag into the hammock is kind of built into it, as long as this is nice and tight. And also it's nice for holding your mosquito net on. And also for if you need to hang things from this. Okay, another thing I love about this hammock is the way it's built. It has like a bungee cord that pulls this net area. See right there? Kind of pulls this over that way and it kind of keeps it off of you. Okay, another thing I like about this hammock is you come around here and I notice as this comes down, creates a little shelf right there. Okay, and that's between the hammock and the screen. So at night, that's where I put my wallet, my light, just anything else that I would need. Okay, one of the key selling points on this hammock was, okay, like notice when you're in a hammock, like if you look at those Inu helmets that I had in my other video that I was camping in, most hammocks are set like this where your feet are up and then your head's kind of up a little bit. But notice how, see how this is loose right here? There's like a swag. What is built into this hammock is a foot box. It's an additional area that's sewn, so I can put my foot over here, slide my torso a little to the left, and I am laying flat as a board, okay? And trust me, I can sleep in this hammock because I have many times. Okay. All right, another good thing about this hammock is I think this hammock comes with the double or the single bottom. Okay, this is the double bottom, and the reason I have the double bottom is I can actually slide my thermarest mattress in here, and then that's important. Okay, and that way you can get, it keeps you from being warm. I mean, it keeps you from getting too cold. Now, here's going to be a big shock if you've never slept at a hammock. Let me challenge you to do this. Go out, get in a hammock, go to sleep in it out there one night. Okay, you say you're going to freeze. Even if it's like right now, it's 70 degrees with a little bit of a breeze, you'd think, okay, it's perfect to go out and take a 2-hour nap. If I tried to take a nap right now, I'd wake up in about an hour freezing because you're ready. It's not unlike a tent where you're laying at least on the ground where there's no wind blowing under you. But in a hammock, the wind and air goes under you. So it requires, at the minimum, if it's a real hot summer, maybe you can get away with it, okay? But at the minimum, you're going to require like a mat or something or a thermarest to go up under you. And that's difficult. It is extremely difficult to keep a mattress under you if you don't have if it's not built in, if it doesn't have some type of pocket to slide it in. It's literally impossible to keep a mat up under you. And but anyway, I use that mat. And another thing that you use if it gets even colder, and probably the more preferred way, is you have an under blanket. So it's actually a blanket. If you would look at the hammock hanging up, it would look like a blanket hanging up because it goes on the outside of the hammock. Okay, that way you say, oh, well, I'll put it inside of my hammock. I'll sleep inside of a sleeping bag, then put a sleeping bag on above me. No, it won't work like that. Okay, you got to have that loose bag under you, and when you do that, you can sleep sub-zero temperature. I don't have one of those, but I'm gonna get one and set that up this winter, and I'll camp in it and show you how it goes. But Anyway, like I say, this is the Warbonnet Blackbird, I believe. And let's talk a little bit about the advantages and the disadvantages of a hammock. Now, one is this could be an advantage or a disadvantage, but here's the primary difference is one is off the ground and the tent is on the ground. Okay, we kind of compare between tent and hammock. Okay, if you're off the ground, I think you have a better chance of staying away from critters. You know, things that crawl and creep. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they can get in here, but you know, I don't think it like say a snake or something like that would have an easiest chance to get. Because they have to crawl up the tree, down the blah. It's like be a whole lot harder. Second of all, you're off the ground in case it rains. If you have a good tarp on your, if you have a good tarp over your hammock, it's just like having a tent over your hammock. Okay, so that's not even an issue. You're going to stay dry. Okay, so I guess a advantage or disadvantage is when you're in a let's say this would be a disadvantage. When I'm in a tent, and the reason I like more camping in a tent is I like to set my stuff up in there. I'm a little more comfortable, and I could cook in there, and I could change clothes in there, and I could do this here. I could kind of lean out the side. I've leaned out the side and set my stuff on the ground out here, and I've cooked on the ground when it's been raining in my hammock, and that's fine. But it's just a little easier, a little more comfortable to do that in a tent. Another advantage of probably the best advantage of the hammock, which is I'm going to start trying to use the hammock, especially if don't know if I'm doing some DR camping on my DR and I don't know where I'm going to be, especially if I'm going to be stealth. If I have to pull down in some woods, you can pull down in anywhere. You don't care if it's wet, nasty, swampy, or whatever. If you got a hammock, you're off the ground, man. Just hike that bad boy up and go to sleep. Don't have to worry about laying on the ground. Don't have to worry about clearing a spot. Don't have to worry about sleeping on unlevel ground. Man, sleeping on it. Do you ever set up a tent and it's unlevel? Me and my son Joe was on Appalachian Trail. He's a big boy too, man. And we had the tent set up. It was a double tent. It was which I normally just sleep in by myself. Well, we was both in it, and we was on a little bit of a slope. And anyway, I'd wake up at night, and the tent, bottom of the tent would be right here, and from here down would be sticking out, sticking out in the open. And my son would be the same way, and so we'd have to wake him up. We had to crawl back up the hill. But when you're in a hammock, man, you ain't gonna worry about that. So there are advantages and there are disadvantages. Well, hey, I guess we're going to wrap this video up. If you hadn't had the opportunity yet to subscribe, man, hey, subscribe, put the notification button on, like, send me some comments, man. Tell me how good of a job I'm doing or tell me how poor I'm doing. Otherwise, I don't know where I stand. So follow me on my next camp out. I'm going to camp in this, take the old DR, going to camp in this, and I'll show kind of video of me setting it up, maybe talk about those knots a little better. But hey, we got a lot to learn over this. We're gonna do some fall camping. Hey, remember, God loves you, so does old Slick. Y'all be particular. All right.